everyone, and welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is presented to you by Losico. So, today we have very nice articles to be discussed. The first, we have the budget blueprint for difficult times. So, this basically talks about now, since we know that on the 1st of this February, the budget will be tabled and we will have the budget for the coming year of 2021-22. So, this actually talks about that what are the things that will be causing an impact on the budget, and basically it will give you an idea as to what all are the important things to be kept in mind while bringing in the budget. Then the second, we have a champion of science pro poor technology. So this talks about the contributions of Dr. Chandrasekhar and C Subramaniam, and what were their contributions, how have they actually helped in the field of science and also bringing technologies which were helpful for public. We'll be discussing in this article. And thirdly, consolidating the recovery, which is from the Indian Express. And this also talks about, now see, basically, this is a time when we have our economic survey. We already have had our economic survey today. And what we understand by the economic survey and what are the expectations from the coming budget on this 1st of February. So more or less, the discussions are centered around these 2 points. So in this, we'll be discussing about the economic survey, the new things that have been discussed in the economic survey, and what actually is an economic survey. And finally, we have the news and flash column. So if you're also preparing for judicial services examination or even for any other kinds of examination, be it for the next year's SEBI, or even if you are preparing for the SEBI level 2 exam now, if you have cleared the level 1, like many of our enrolled students have already cleared it. So you can have a look at our courses. So here we have the lot of the courses, which is the judiciary test prep course. Other than that, we also have our course for CLAT, All India Bar Exam, SEBI, etc. You can have a look at them too. The link to this course is available in the description box below. And from the lot of the courses course, you can download free study material for your own help as well. With this, let's see that what is the multiple choice question from yesterday's discussion. India and Pakistan have a dispute over the GI, which is the geographical indication tag for. Your options are saffron, walnuts, basmati rice, or all of the above. You can write down your answer in the comment section below. Then here is the descriptive question for the day. The purpose of science is not only technological advancement, but such technology should also be beneficial for the larger good of public. Do you agree? If yes, support your answer with relevant examples. So here we have the budget blueprint for the difficult times. So the annual budget for 2020 and 21 will be presented on the 1st February. Guys, this will be 21 and 22. Please pardon, it must be 21 and 22 because now the financial year that we'll have in hand will be 21-22. So it will be presented on the 1st of February 2021. So these are the key issues which were faced during the pandemic. So these were the basic things that hit the our economy at large. So we had the Manrega and COVID-19. Manrega, as we know, it is the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Because as we know that a lot of migrant workers had lost their jobs in the cities and they had to move back to their villages in the rural areas, and thus it was the Manrega that played a very, very crucial role in providing them employment, at least for some time. And that is why even the burden and the pressure on Manrega had also increased, and the government had to allot a lot of money and finances towards Manrega in order to pay the wages for these workers. Then we have agriculture and COVID-19. Though we were fortunate enough that the agriculture was not that badly hit because of the COVID-19, because mostly, as we know, obviously the agriculture is practiced in the rural areas of our country, and the rural areas had comparatively lesser impact. Please mind, I'm saying that not less impact, but comparatively lesser impact as that from the that in the urban areas. But still, due to the lack of or disruption of various resources, the various supply chains and transportation, etc., the agriculture also hampered. Then we have health and COVID-19. It is it is less said. It can be, it cannot be emphasized enough. The health sector was completely, it shook badly due to the COVID-19, and obviously ultimately the economy as well. So we have planned that we'll not be taking the detailed discussions of all these over here. We have discussed all of these topics in some or the other way in the previous news analysis videos. All of their links are available in the description box. So if you want to understand about Manrega, agriculture, health and economy, you can have a look at all of those links in the description box in today's news analysis. Then we have the basic income safety net, which is the immediate need of the hour. Now, even in the initial days when the economy was dampening badly, so at that time also this very idea of having the universal basic income was brought in. Now, here what we need to understand is that what do we mean by the idea of universal basic income? Which countries already have universal basic income? Does it also look alike any other scheme which was previously there or proposed by earlier governments? And finally, have we had any time we have given basic income in our country anywhere or in any state or not? So basically, it is for the bottom half of India's family for 6 months, and it is in lines with Congress Party's Nyay scheme. So basically, this program was there, Nyuntam Aay Yojana, which was the minimum income support program. Now, as the name itself is suggesting, it is universal basic income. So which means that it will be given a basic income, that is a minimum amount of money as a kind of income, will be given universally to all the citizens of the country, irrespective of the fact whether they are rich or poor, whether they are agricultural laborers or they are the rural laborers or they are the urban laborers, whoever they are. So each and every citizen of the country universally, like we have the universal adult franchisee, which means that any person who is above the age of 18 years shall have the right to vote. Now, irrespective that person suffers with any kind of disability, he's rich, poor, woman, or whoever. So this is the very idea of universal basic income. So what happens is that in the general situations, whenever the government tries to give any kind of money through schemes, like we have schemes like for Matru Vandana Yojana, which is for the lactating and pregnant women. Then we have schemes for persons with disabilities. We have schemes for agricultural laborers. In all these schemes, the first step that has to be taken by the government is to identify the beneficiaries of these schemes. See, like if a scheme is targeting to provide some kind of monetary benefit to the, for example, say Kisan, that is the farmers, or if it is trying to provide any kind of benefit to lactating and pregnant women. So definitely first the government needs to know as to how many people are there ready to avail the benefits under the scheme. And once this data is available with the government, then further distribution of money and other kinds of resources takes place. But on the contrary, in the idea of universal basic income, the government absolutely has to skip this first step, and there is no any exercise that is taken up to identify the beneficiaries, because here every citizen is the beneficiary. As we say, it is universal basic income. So here, be it a rich man or a poor man, be it a rich woman or a poor woman, be it anybody in the society, whoever is there as a citizen of the country shall be provided with this basic income. Now here, UBI across the world, many countries actually across the world have adopted the universal basic income. In US, in California, we have then Stockton, California, Finland, Kenya, Brazil, Canada, France, UK and Germany, Scotland, Barcelona, British Columbia, and Switzerland. So they have, some of them have them as pilot projects, but some of them has also brought in as a big time project as well. And in India also, this question we should know that it is not the case that we have never ever had the idea of universal basic income. Recently, a pilot project was taken up in few villages and rural areas of Madhya Pradesh, the state of Madhya Pradesh, and there the people were provided with some universal basic income for a few months. And ultimately, this pilot project or this experiment came out to be very successful, as it was seen that having good amount of income in their hands, people were investing more into their health, education, and other luxuries for life. So that is why, if at all this question comes that it has never been implemented in India, so that's not the case. It has been implemented, though in a pilot project that is only on experimental basis. In which state? In the state of Madhya Pradesh. Now, let's consider the second article for the day, which talks about C. Chandrasekhar and C. Subramaniam. So basically, today is the 111th birth anniversary of C. Subramaniam. In the same year, that is in 1910, a great astrophysicist, Dr. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, was also born. Now, as we know, that astrophysicists are those scientists which actually study the astrology with the physics of movement and motion of the earth and all these things. So both of them, C. Subramaniam as well as Dr. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, yes, the names are also quite similar. Both were born in the year 1910. So 2021 is also the golden jubilee year of the founding of India's Ministry of Science and Technology. So in 2021, we have completed 50 years of having Ministry of Science and Technology. Now, here are the contributions of both Dr. Chandrasekhar and C. Subramaniam. So, Dr. Chandrasekhar was concerned about the processes of importance in the evolution of stars. Now, as we know that he was an astrophysicist, and Dr. C. Subramaniam, he was concerned about the problem of food security in India, and basically he sowed seeds of the green revolution in the Indian agriculture. Now, in the very next slide, we'll also understand about the food security, that how India came to the level of food being food secure in the food security, and that what was the basic idea behind the Green Revolution. Then Dr. Chandrasekhar explored space and propounded the concept of black holes. Now, as we know that black holes are there in huge, there are these huge areas of gravitational pull. So basically what happens is that black holes are the areas in most of the galaxies. In our own galaxy also, in the Milky Way, we have a black hole that is called as the Sagittarius A asterisk. So you should know this name also. It is called as the Sagittarius A, and then we have that star kind of a thing which we call as the asterisk. So almost all the galaxies have their own black holes, and it is almost there in the center of the galaxy. Black holes basically are the areas where there is immense gravitational pull. And an interesting fact about the black holes, that the gravitational pull is to that extent in the black holes that even light cannot escape from them, and that is why they are termed as black holes, because it is completely dark in there. So he actually had worked on the idea of black holes, and C. Subramaniam championed the cause of science and technology to solve the societal problems. Then Dr. Chandrasekhar he studied the science of universe was his call basically, and science of humanity was the call for C. Subramaniam. So that how science is associated with the universe and how the study of science and universe can benefit us. And C. Subramaniam said that how science can be beneficial for the overall growth of humanity. Now, there was a huge and immense contribution of S. Subramaniam and food sufficiency. So before 1960s, India was an importer of the grains. Now, for understanding this point, we need to understand that what were the basic British policies that were taken up in the Indian agricultural system. We can recall that when we used to study the British regime in India, so the Britishers paid very less attention on growing the grains and crops and cereals, which were more important for consumption. Rather, they were more interested, and they actually forced the farmers to grow crops which were commercial in nature, like the indigo and other similar crops, due to which India had become, there were repetitive famines in the country, and then India was not at all secure in terms of the food safety. So at the time of the Indian independence, the situation of the agriculture and food security in India was bizarre. So what happened was that in the times of 1960s, India was a huge importer of the food grains. So can you imagine that currently India is the largest exporter of wheat, and it is also going wheat and rice and even other food grains and food products also. But in the time of our independence, India was a huge importer of the grains. That is, to cater for the needs of the basic food requirements of our population, we had to import basic things even like rice and wheat. Now, this was detrimental because India, firstly, definitely had a lot of potential in growing these crops, but we were not able to do them. And secondly, importing these food grains was not very easy on the pocket of economy. So definitely we had to pay hefty amounts for even securing the food grains. So when India got independence, the biggest and the first and the foremost challenge, and also the foremost target of all the leaders and all the people in the country, was that firstly, we need to become secure in the terms of food, and only then we can move further towards any other kinds of development. So after 1960s, Green Revolution took place, in which we know that MS Swaminathan had a very important role to play, and even S. Subramaniam had a very important role to play in this, because he created the Technology Bhavan, which was given in aid by US to store the food grains, which became the house for the Ministry of Science and Technology. And it also gave a reminder to the scientists that the purpose of public investments in science must include its duty to ensure social and public good. Like, if at all, and we may wonder that ISRO and DRDO, they actually spend so much of money in creating these satellites and missiles and everything. So how actually do they cater to the needs of the public at large or common people? See, many a times when we do the space expeditions, we are into search of a lot of things, hydrocarbons and other kinds of resources which are not easily and cheaply available on the earth. So if at all we are able to get all those things from the space, then it will add a lot to the economy of the country, and this will ultimately help raise the levels of standard of living of the people at large as well. So all the expeditions which are done in the field of science, like for example, if we do any kinds, we make any kinds of happy seeders or any other things which help in the growth and mechanization of agriculture, they also help ultimately in the food security and giving the farmers a good income. So all of these projects which are taken up in the science should also have the duty to ensure social and public good. Now, this was Chandrasekhar's vision and contribution. So, his blueprint for linking science and technology to the development path of India preceded the Science and Technology Ministry. He relied on four E's for the economic freedom of every citizen. Firstly, education. Then the second was environment. Third, economy. And fourth, empowerment of our farmers. So he believed that all these things are necessary for providing the freedom to every citizen in the terms of economy. Then he also founded the National Agro Foundation in 2000, which was to institutionalize his will through farmer-centric programs. Now, please, all of you, we need to keep in mind the contributions of both S. Subramaniam and also Dr. Chandrasekhar, because there is a very high chance that a question from these might come in the mains as well, and in the prelims, there is a very high chance of that too. Then here we have the economic survey and recovery. So the finance minister has tabled the economic survey for 2020-21 in the parliament yesterday. Now, yes, this has to be the year 2020-21, because now we'll also see that what actually do we mean by economic survey. So economic survey is for the preceding year, the year which is already passed. So it is not for the year that is coming up. Budget is for the year that we have to follow, and economic survey is for the year that we have already been through. So the economic survey for 2021 has been tabled in the parliament, which has been focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat in the COVID times, shifting from entitlement-based approaches to an entrepreneurship-based policy framework. So it means that instead of providing the programs for people with different entitlements, like just we were talking about in the universal basic income as well, that various schemes actually they focus on some kinds of people, some classes of citizens. And rather than that, we should be focusing more on the entrepreneurship-based policy framework, wherein we should enhance and we should incentivize the people to bring more and more entrepreneurial programs and to have their own kind of employment. So then the surveys in 2020-21, it focuses on the focus is predominantly on the recovery path and enhanced public expenditure, because we know that in the previous year, even the financial year that we're still going on till the month of March, this one. So there was this huge blow on the economy of the country due to the COVID-19, and that is why we were trying to recover all through this year, and that is why it was all about enhanced public expenditure, because as we discussed that in the previous slide also, in health, in education, then in Manrega as well, and in other terms of economy as well, the government had to spend a lot. So the public expenditure had actually increased from the side of government. And if we talk about the economic survey, even before that, for the year 2019 to 20, it focused on the importance of wealth creation, entrepreneurship, and financial markets in the economic development, and discussed in detail the facilitating role of the government. This invoked texts such as of Kautilya's Arthashastra and Thiruvallur Kural, which is basically he was a very famous Tamil poet. So if at all you want to gain an understanding about the economic developments or the economic steps that were taken in the previous year, economic survey is your document. So though there are 2 volumes of economic survey which are very bulky, but with time, many institutes, they also bring up with they also come up with the summaries of economic survey. So you can have a look at them too. And if at all you want that we would cover the economic survey and its summary, then you can also write out in the comment section. If at all we'll see good participation from your side, we'll definitely make an endeavor to provide you the summary, and that is a discussion for the economic survey for previous year. So as we know that now the economic survey, it prepares and it is an analysis, it analyzes the broad trends at the macro level, that is at the wider level or the bigger level. As we know that economy is of 2 kinds, micro and macro. So in the microeconomics, we study the very small dimensions and aspects of the economy, the changes which do not really bring a greater change in the society. But when we talk about the macro level economy, these are the schemes, the developments or the changes that have the potential of changing the entire picture of the economic setup of any country or any area. So it analyzes the broad trends of the macro level and the profiling of the initiatives across various economic activities such as infrastructure, agriculture, industrial production, employment, prices, exports and imports, foreign exchange reserves, health, education, etc. Then it brings together various relevant factors having both long and short term impact on economy and budget. Then it also advocates counter cyclical fiscal policies based on the premise that growth leads to debt sustainability. So basically, Economic Survey is that document which analyzes all the steps taken by the government, all the advancements or the depreciations taken in or took that had been taken up in the previous year's economic setup. So this is an Indian economy. A snapshot is there from the Economic Survey 2020-21. You can go through these as well. So this is for the news in flash. Novavax to be made by SSI. So the American vaccine Novavax is set to be made by the Pune-based Serum Institute of India. So the efficacy of the Novavax is 80% in the United Kingdom and 60% in South Africa, which was likely consequence of a mutant coronavirus variant deep rooted here, because a new mutant was also seen over here. So this was all for the day. We hope it was a good session for you. If in case you wish to download the PDF for today's slides, you can join our Telegram group. Also, you can visit our official website for any other kind of information. Thank you so much.